Prince Harry has insisted he loves his family and that he jumped on a plane to visit the King immediately after learning of his father's cancer diagnosis. In a bombshell interview at the Invictus Games countdown in Canada, the Duke of Sussex revealed he was grateful to have seen Charles in person, adding he hoped the shock diagnosis would have a reunifying effect on the royal family.
I love my family. The fact that I was able to get on a plane and go and see him and spend any time with him, I'm grateful for that.
I've also found in my own life that sort of an illness in the family can have a galvanizing or sort of reunifying effect for a family.
Absolutely.
Is that possible in this case?
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, throughout all these families, I see it on a day-to-day basis. You know, the strength of the family unit coming together. I think any illness, any sickness brings families together.
During the walk and talk in Whistler, Harry also revealed he's considering becoming an American citizen since moving to California.
Do you feel American?
Do I feel American? No, I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Would you think about becoming a citizen?
I have considered it. Yeah.
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 What would stop you from doing it?
I have no idea. I'm here standing next to this with these guys, and the American citizenship is a thought that has crossed my mind, but certainly not something that's a high priority for me right now.
Harry's revelation comes after he hurtled down a bobsled run at 60 miles per hour in taste of what athletes can expect at the Games. Harry quipped he could go down the track until the sun goes down, though Meghan said there was no way she would join her husband. Well, let's just start with Charles first. I think he did all right there, Harry. He didn't give away anything really that we didn't already know. I think he was quite respectful about his dad. Some people are going to say he should have said, "I'm not discussing my father with you." But I think he did the right thing.
You have to finesse it. And in his defence, and I can't believe I'm saying this, he didn't actually reveal his diagnosis or anything that would make the royal family distrust him more. I think it was interesting that he kind of slipped around the whole, you know, does illness bring family together and has that galvanizing effect? And he didn't necessarily say it will bring my family together, but he said, you know, he does recognise that that is possible. I do think, though, that I don't know if he's still in the kind of realms of delusion, thinking that he could really spare and do all the things that he's done, and suddenly, somehow, because his father is ill, you know, his stepmother that he insulted in his book, or his mother, his sister-in-law, who he also insulted in his book, will somehow be like, "Oh, Harry, it's all right because, you know, Charles is sick, so let's all get together." I just think he's living in cloud cuckoo land.
But let's be really clear. This interview was about Invictus.
Yeah,
it really was.
That was like
and I'm not often
excerpt.
fair to Harry and Meghan, but this was an interview fully. It was on the slopes. He keeps referring back to the Invictus family.
Yeah.
The minute I heard that he was doing an interview with Good Morning America, I thought, you know, well, this is outrageous timing and la 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 la. Why is he grabbing the spotlight again? Actually, it's very much a year to go till the Invictus Games. He responds to questions. He responds. Will Reeve, who is obviously the son of Christopher Reeve, Superman, asks him, "Have you considered US citizenship?" And he responds to that, but he's pretty kind of nonplussed about it.
I think
he responds to the question about
It's a massive moment. This is the son of the king saying he's considered taking American citizenship. It's going to be a huge story. It's not the point. He's the son of the king. He doesn't have to take citizenship. I lived there for 10 years. I knew people who'd lived there 50 years.
He said he's considered it.
It's a massive story. It's outrageous.
No, it's not,
I think
Kevin.
it's a scandal. And then they go, "Oh, I love my family." In other news, the moon comes out at night. I mean, big deal.
Well, what's he meant to say? I don't love my... No, I don't love them.
Well, exactly. That's why it's not a story. I love my family. He's destroyed that love by the way he's behaved. And when he says, an illness in the family can bring us back together. Well, yeah, in some families, in Christopher Reeve's son Will's family, evidently it did. In the royal family, ask William. Is the king's illness going to bring this family? No, it is not.
I think you're just overreacting. Here's an individual.
No, I know a story when I see one. That's what I'm talking about.
No, of course you do. Of course you do, because you want to stir it up. I actually think Harry interviews very well, and I think in this instance he didn't give away too much. I think he was very respectful, and I think he actually kicked away the US citizenship story because he knows.
Did.
Yes, he
said I'm considering it.
He didn't say
no, he didn't say I'm
considering
it. He said I considered it in the sense that of course you would consider where you are.
Why?
Because on occasion.
Because he lives there and he's married to an
I lived there.
American.
I didn't consider it.
If there were either tax reasons or other
I wasn't
reasons...
planning to come back. I knew people who lived there 50 years who stayed on a green card.
I didn't realise you were
don't have
that
to
old.
take American citizenship.
You were
It's an
there
act of
50 years?
It's an act... No, I said I knew people who lived there 50 years and never took citizenship. I never would have done. I considered staying there. I never would have taken citizenship. I think it's an act of treachery.
Oh,
No,
I think you're
I think
overreacting.
it's different when you had kids. When you have kids in America, I think actually it feels different. You're married to an American. He said, "I've considered it." You know, he didn't bring it up.
You know, that's the end of
Outrageous.
You say it's a big story, but that's the end of the story because him saying I've considered it. You know why
Not the end of the story,
you know why
Esther.
he's never going to go through with it for tax reasons. Because if you're an American citizen, it doesn't matter where you live in the world. You have to declare your income to the IRS.
No, look, I know about this stuff.
But
if
this
you
is
live there, it's the same deal. It doesn't matter whether you're a citizen or not.
Well,
if you live there, I
Meghan
know
does.
this. I know this.
Meghan
when you
does.
live there, you have to pay American tax and you have to pay your own tax in your own country as well. So it doesn't matter whether you're a citizen or not. He does not have to even consider becoming a citizen to stay there.
How would it sound if he'd said, "No, I've never considered it"? It would have sounded...
It would sound good.
Well,
No, I think... Look,
It would be what the British people would hope for.
No, this is a nonsense. I think you're just...
Honestly, you people, you're just pouring a bucket over a great story. What's the matter with
There's
you?
no great
Exactly.
story.
We're just pouring a bucket over someone who's spilling his bucket.
James,
now,
let me
me
introduce you to journalism. I don't think you've met.
Yeah, let me introduce you to common sense. I'm not sure you've met. Now, here's the point.
Oh, good retort.
Thanks.
Pardon me, sir. Aren't you the one they call Oscar Wilde?
No, they're the one they call the voice of common sense. I think the point about this, which is interesting,
that's Mike.
is actually what he talks about the family, and where you did speak some sense, is that because of the public damage that he has caused, that even though families sometimes an illness can make you come to your senses on the basis that you realise that the institution that you've been fighting, the wars that you've been fighting, suddenly mean nothing when you're talking about somebody's mortality.
Something serious.
And that perhaps that can be a jolt of reality. However, he has caused so many issues within his family that from the other side, they'll say, look, it doesn't matter whatever's happened, and I'm really sorry that you're suddenly feeling this empathy towards, you know, your father and what's happened.
Which is natural.
But do you realise what you did and the trouble you caused? That's the story.
Yeah, that's the story, and that it goes so deep with William that they even couldn't meet.
Don't tell me what a story is. I'll tell you what a story is.
No.
He's considering becoming a citizen of a different story.
He's not becoming...
That is the...
He's considered it.
But look, I think there's a difference between how William feels and how Charles feels. I think Charles and Camilla will welcome Harry back with open arms.
Not Camilla. Charles will.
No, I think Charles and Camilla will. But
William.
I don't think William
think
will.
Camilla would.
I don't think she would.
I think
Camilla would for Charles. I don't think Charles was that amused by this immature leaping onto a plane. I mean, he saw him.
Well, he was.
For half an hour.
You say that, but Charles
he has big issues going
Charles
on.
was supposed to jump on a helicopter. He delayed his helicopter and delayed his routine.
Half an hour.
So he could welcome his son face to face and let someone else do it.
Yeah,
so I think Charles does
care. And then, of course, Harry
And
had to rush back to go to a tawdry awards ceremony in Las Vegas.
Yes.
The reason that meeting was so short was not Charles, it was Harry. He had to go back to the NFL awards ceremony in Sin City. Isn't that special?
Yeah, but as I say, I still believe that Charles will welcome back his son.
But the real story...
I agree with that.
Yeah.
The real story, though, is William. I don't think that William will ever forgive him, and I think he's deeply, deeply hurt. It's different with a child. You say, look, I'll forgive my son if I have to.
Well,
but I think William has...
Listen,
totally agree.
Listen, we agree with what you're saying, but if you keep saying the real story, you're going to get the journalists confused, OK? Because that's not the real story. Anyway, Harry also opened up on children and family life during the interview. He gave a rare insight into Archie and Lilibet's personalities, saying the pair have an incredible sense of humour. Have a look.
Just physically being in California, how have you processed the fact that there's so much happening back with your family where you come from?
I have my own family,
right?
So as we all do,
yeah.
right? So, you know, my family and my life in California is as it is. You know, I've got other trips planned that would take me through the UK or back to the UK. So, you know, I'll stop in and see my family as much as I can.
That's my next question about your family. How's Harry the dad?
How's what?
How's Harry the dad?
I can't tell you. That's classified.
Okay, it's top secret.
It's top secret.
Really?
No, the kids.
Making lunches.
The kids are doing great. The kids are growing up like all kids do, very, very fast. They both got an incredible sense of humour and, you know, make us laugh and keep us grounded every single day, like most kids do. So, yeah, I'm just very grateful to be a dad.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking. My kids are funny.
The kids have got an incredible sense of humour. Well, with their parents, they got to have.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't laugh,
There was no insight there at all.
JJ, I hate to say it, but that wasn't an incredible insight into any kid's
there wasn't,
personality.
because every parent says how pretty their children are, and every parent says how funny their children are, and not to anyone else.
On camera,
I thought it was quite good, that,
people
so
say that,
I
yes.
thought that was good.
If you ask a parent off camera, someone you're friends with, they'll say, so-and-so's been a real bloody little B-word this weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd be more honest. He's never going to stand on TV and say, actually, Lilibet has got a terrible temper and she started biting and hitting.
I'm surprised. He's not one who's a biter.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised because Harry is not one to hold back. So I wouldn't be surprised if he said, actually, Lilibet's a little brat.
No, because they don't have to deal with them.
Lilibet, can't stand her.
Yeah, exactly.
It must be the name.